Justin Hawkins writes again. Good day to you, it is I, Justin Hawkins. This is Justin Hawkins Rides Again, my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that button, the bell one there, so that you can receive notifications and never miss a thing. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favourite ever guitar players, Slash, and this song that he's done featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators. The song's called Actions Speak Louder Than Words. So this is the new Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators album, 4. It's called 4. Does that mean that there's 3 others? I'm not really sure. It's the first release on Gibson Records. Now, that's a cracking little label. This is a Gibson guitar. Is that the same thing? Is it Gibson diversifying their portfolio into guitars? They do amps as well. You know, all the associated merchandise. They have like venues, and now they're doing records as well. Actually, it's about time. Makes perfect sense. The producer of this album is Dave Cobb. Slash wanted to record a live set studio album. That's cool. They recorded most of the album live in 10 days at Nashville's RCA Studio A. Cracking little studio, like it down there. Myles Kennedy, best known as the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist of the rock band Alter Bridge. So let's have a look and see what we make of it. Yes, I agree to continue away from WhatsApp. Fucking hell, YouTube! Okay, so it starts off with this riff like a... That's it, I think. So that already it's just sort of reminded me of... rock... that AC/DC thing. But it's funny, because when AC/DC do that sort of major... thing, there's always like a little hint of a saucy Gershwin minor-y thing going on, even if they just hammer up to the sort of major from that. The other thing it reminds me of is you know, that sort of Creedence type playing. Really nice to hear Slash playing like that. I mean, it's just nice to hear Slash playing all the time. I've never not enjoyed his stuff. I just think he's a great guitar player, and really, you know, he's iconic because of that big hat and the way he looks and everything. But he's also super distinctive. You know, hourly, you can hear his stuff on the radio. You know, it's him, 100 miles away, because he's Slash. He's a fucking legend, isn't he? Okay, Myles Kennedy's obviously got a great voice. He's kind of like the go-to bloke, isn't he? When you sort of think about modern rock vocalists that do that thing, he's the guy. I mean, he's super reliable. I've seen him play many times, and he's always sort of legit, on the money, just consistent performer, really. Sometimes I find like the melodic choices that he does are a little bit standard for my taste. You know, it's very much kind of commitments. You know what I mean? Like it's he does exactly what you would expect him to do, but I mean, he has the ability to do much more. I'd love to hear him sort of explore like melodic alternatives, and the ones he chooses, they're very sort of rock standard singing. That's not to say it's bad. I love rock singing. It's just, I don't know, for a song like this, which has got this, I don't know, this sort of suggests, far be it for me to, you know, deconstruct. Oh wait, that's what I do. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I think when you're playing this riff here, what you got there is the minor 7th, isn't it? And this is the major 3rd. So here are 2 really, really interesting notes, first of all. But the thing that I find a little bit disappointing is that the sort of main melody is... Why not use this note? You know what I mean? Like it would already be more original, wouldn't it? Because it's, you know, this is a really... That's just using like some, you know, basic blues lickery in... Although I suppose it's interesting because it's a... If it's a... It's interesting because that's the minor as opposed to the major. I don't know. When I heard that the first time, I just thought, well, that sounds like, you know, just pub rock really, but or The Commitments or something like that. You know, it's that kind of just, it's rock and roll singing. But I'd love to hear him do more. Maybe he does go on to do more. I like this phrase in the verse. It's pretty AC/DC-ish. I think it goes G, C, A. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool in the sense that it's, you know, it's not quite what you would expect, but it sort of is, you know.
Another promise that was bound to break. Am I just losing my mind?
Got the right amount of surprise in it. I mean, it's a really generic vocal. It's really, really well sung. Please, I'm not taking anything away from Myles as a singer. I think he's awesome, but melodically, it's just not very inspiring, I don't think. Here we go. That's more like it. Oh, that reminds me of like a U2 in their pop. You know that sleep comes like a drug in God's country. It's kind of getting into that sort of territory. So after the verse and the sort of pre-chorusy bits, there's another sort of section just before like you get to a real chorus, as it were. So it must be an A, B, A, B, C, and then D section, you know, compositional arrangement up to the first chorus. In God's country, yeah. Desert rose deep beneath the desert rose. Rivers run. Yeah, I don't know how it goes, but you know, something like that. I was singing U2 then, sorry, not this.
Desert sky, dream beneath the desert sky.
Okay.
They say that actions speak much louder than words.
Actions speak much louder than words. So it's one of those choruses where everything's playing in unison, you know. It's a bit like a We Will Rock You or something like that. There's no harmonies necessary. Somebody's singing an octave over the main vocal. That might be that Todd guy. He follows me on Instagram. I like him. Hey, Todd. How you doing, mate? Yeah, I just think it's like this is the bit where it's the anthem, you know. This is a very T-Rex approach to delivering a lead vocal in a chorus. So you hear nothing but the melody. If it's sung an octave above, it just reinforces that and makes it land in your heart where it needs to go. And what they're saying is actions speak louder than words. Who can argue with a sentiment like that? It's a fairly broad sentiment with a really singable chorus where there's no denying what the melody is. You hear it once and you know what it is. Actions speak much louder than words. That's literally the second time I've sung it, and after the first time I heard it. That's how hooky that chorus is. Very hooky.
You keep it coming like a hurricane.
Rolling, rolling. That melody. I know where I've heard it before. It's that. What's that? That's a Judas Priest song, isn't it? Let me just check it. I think it might be Living After Midnight, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, it has an echo of this Living After Midnight, the Judas Priest. You know, it's just got a little bit of that in it. I mean, this is what I mean by it sort of being a kind of generic melody. Really, it's very, very similar to one that Judas Priest had out in the 80s.
I took the city by the 1 a.m. loaded.
it's not necessarily a bad thing to sort of retread stuff in that way. It's just a blues phrase, really, but you know, some melodic variation in the second half of that line, but I don't know. When people can sing it really well, you get away with it, but it's a shame to have to get away with it, isn't it? I mean, if anybody else sung that in a pub, it would just sound awful, wouldn't it? It would just sound like pub rock. Myles is capable of much more than that. He's a great singer. I've said it 3 times now. Just to re-emphasise, don't slag me off. I'm not saying he's a bad singer. He's a great singer. But that is like a Judas Priest melody from 50 years ago. 40, please, forgive me, 40 years ago. Do listen like, that guy's got the pipes. He's got the fucking pipes. He can really do it. One finger in the ear because there's harmonies going on. He needs to position himself and anchor himself. This is a live recording, don't forget. It's a pretty staggering vocal. I mean, these guys really, really can play. Who's the drummer on this? Oh my God, you even see Slash jumping up and down. That's a rare sight indeed. I love the way Slash prowls with his, Converse on and sort of rolls his foot as he moves along the stage. I just think he's really distinctive in pretty much every aspect of him, really. Like the way he moves is no exception. And when he positions himself for a solo and he gets his guitar right there, and then he just stands there and he lets his fingers do all the stuff, it's really inspiring. But I just saw him jumping up and down, getting the blood pumping ready for his backing vocal part. Sounds like Myles is doing the really, really low part. So I think Slash is singing the middle one. So Myles is going, and then someone's in there. I think that's got to be. Do you think Slash has got a voice up there somewhere? I wonder where he positions his BVs. Oh, I'm mistaken. He's not doing any backing vocals at all. It's the other guy. Sorry, it's Todd. Cheers. God, from the side, Myles actually looks a little bit like Steven Tyler sometimes, doesn't he? And this is a really cool sort of Aerosmith. Round about sort of 2 minutes 5 seconds or something, you get a really interesting melody, and it starts to sort of become a really detailed arrangement. There's loads of different bits to it. Ah, yeah, that's a really cool bit. Someone's hitting these offbeat 7th chords with the sort of JCM 800s type sound, and sorry, I'm talking about a particular kind of Marshall. I'm sorry, I just love Slash so much, and it really does. It's getting a little bit like middle 8 of Welcome to the Jungle there. It's great. I've got to say, Myles' voice really suits Slash's guitar playing. This is a good fit. I think I was sceptical of it before because I've seen Myles play with so many other sort of artists and in his own right as well. But if you think about it, who else could actually do that gig properly? I mean, he's the right guy for it. I mean, it's not like... I mean, nobody can do Axl except for Axl and the guy that Steven Adler's playing with, Ari. He's amazing as well. But would you really want to see Slash with somebody that sounds a bit like Axl, or is it nice to see him find a different counterpart? I mean, it's just nice to see him playing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the guy that needs to be out there doing his stuff, showing us slightly younger guys how it's actually done. You know, Slash is an all-time legend, and deservedly so too. He never lets you down. I've seen him break a string and tune up on the fly whilst still playing the riff. He's the real deal, you know. I love this guy. Wait a minute, he's doing a fucking solo on the flying V. It's not loud enough. This is one observation I'd say. Get that cranked. Turn it up, for fuck's sake. We can't hear what Slash is doing. I also think the Slash is one of those blokes that employs wah-wah in a clever way. You know, some people use it to disguise the fact that they're fluffing their notes and they're just sort of doing something that's a bit fast. Oh, it's impressive. And I really hate that because it narrows the bandwidth down to the point where you can't hear the fact that it's just sloppy playing. But when Slash uses it, it's really, really effective. I just think proper guitarist with a discreet and you know, the sensible use of wah wah. There's not many things in life that are more satisfying to listen to than that, really. I mean, it's interesting to watch him playing a Flying V. You kind of, the balance of it's completely different to a Les Paul, and you almost think like, you know, if you know a Les Paul back to front, you can pretty much pick one up and you can rely on yourself to hit those sort of 3 or 2 fret bends and land somewhere near the note that you're aiming for. So it's really sort of impressive that he's playing this sort of slightly unfamiliar guitar that you don't really associate with him, and just hearing him play like a solo where more or less every note's spot on, really. That's a great performance, I think. Waste my time. That's really Guns N' Roses-y, isn't it? Funnily enough, the guy who's doing the high part has probably got the hardest job, really. I think if you're singing whilst playing the same notes on the guitar, that's easy. But I think doing, or whatever the bass line is, whilst singing, you know, that's a fairly impressive skill, actually. So it shows you there's more to Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators and Slash than Slash and Myles Kennedy. The rest of the guys are really good, you know. Slashes up the dusty end of the guitar, you can hardly hear it. Turn the fucking thing up, man. Yeah, okay. That's a really good live performance, isn't it? I mean, it's just brilliant to see guys like that playing that kind of music that well. Myles Kennedy's a great vocalist, but it'd be awesome to hear him sing something that's a bit more sort of melodically interesting, really. But at the end of the day, it's Slash, so you know it's good. You know. Justin Hawkins writes again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and watch one of these 2 videos. Nice one, mate!